If your team runs cloud workloads, AI services, developer pipelines, or internet-facing infrastructure, today's security question is simple: which patch changes your blast radius first? This is Daily Tech Hack Global for July 29, 2026. The facts in this briefing come from NBD, CISA when reachable, and linked vendor advisories. I will keep the discussion defensive: no exploit commands, no payloads, and no step-by-step attack chains. The lead item is CVE 2026-65590. NBD describes it as N8N before 2.29.8 and 2.30.x before 2.30.1 does not enforce shell sandbox restrictions on Linux and Windows in the N8N/computer use package. Sandboxing was applied only on macOS. Shell commands executed by the tool run without any file system or network restrictions, allowing unrestricted access to the host file system and network from within the computer use agent process. This issue only affects deployments where the N8N/computer use package is explicitly installed and running. Standard N8N installations are not. The recorded severity is critical with CVSS 9.8. Why it matters: agent tools often forward credentials or call internal APIs, so path scope, least privilege, and audit logs matter as much as model behavior. The second item is CVE 2026-50252. NBD summarizes it as, in NLNet Labs Unbound January 4, 22 up to and including 1.25.1, UDP source port is randomized and intended to serve as a secret value that increases the entropy of DNS transactions. When resolver load balancing policies depend on the source port while their outcome is revealed, this secrecy is undermined. The vulnerability arises when the load balancing policy is consistent with respect to the incoming source UDP port and IP address while heavily depending on the severity is critical with CVSS 9.3. The operational takeaway is to map this advisory to exposed systems, service credentials, and any automation that can turn a small weakness into a larger incident. Item 3 is CVE 2026-55971. Heap-based buffer overflow vulnerability in Apache Thrift C++ bindings. This issue affects Apache Thrift before 0.24.0. Users are recommended to upgrade to version 0.24.0, which fixes the issue. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.8. Defensive context, prioritize by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Item 4 is CVE 2026-48144. Improper validation of certificate with host mismatch vulnerability in Apache Thrift C_glib bindings. This issue affects Apache Thrift before 0.24.0. Users are recommended to upgrade to version 0.24.0, which fixes the issue. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.1. Defensive context, prioritize by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Here is the defender checklist. First, identify whether any affected product is internet-facing, reachable from CI systems, or reachable by AI agents and automation. Second, patch according to the vendor advisory, not just the headline score. Third, review service accounts, API keys, pod identities, OAuth apps, and tool credentials that could be reused if the affected system was compromised. Fourth, add monitoring around unusual admin actions, image pulls, tool calls, authentication failures, and outbound network requests. Fifth, document what was patched and what was deferred so tomorrow's team can audit the risk instead of rediscovering it. The larger lesson is that AI security is not only prompt security. It is the security of runtimes, cloud services, tool connectors, identity boundaries, and the operational process that decides what gets patched first. Patch what is exposed, reduce what is privileged, rotate what may have leaked, and make automation prove what it is allowed to touch.